Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fine episode of Foxborough Central. I am your host, and I thank you for taking the time to join with me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Foxborough, in the greater scheme of things, is just a little town in the greater planet we call Earth. And there's so many wonderful people, so many exciting things going on that every once in a while you cross paths with somebody, you just have to share that story. Our mutual acquaintance, Jury Love, who does the scheduling here at Foxborough Central, is a former student of yours, correct?
That's right.
And I'm speaking with Michael Wartofsky, who is a professor at the Berkeley
College of Music.
How are you doing today?
It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here, Michael. And so Jury Love is our mutual acquaintance, and she was a student of yours back...
Well, she just reminded me it was 1998, which is sort of hard to believe. And
time flies.
Here she is, and we're both parents, and her kids are beautiful, and she's doing great things as an alumni. In
fact, one of her kids is one of our camera operators today.
There you
Amazing.
go.
So we are now
job,
20 years down the road, 21 years down the road, and you were a professor then, and you're still a professor at Berkeley?
Well, I've been faculty at Berkeley all that time. Okay. I think I was maybe even an assistant professor back,
But you're still at Berkeley,
day, but I've made it to professor.
Sharing your, now, when you say of music, I love music and I love performing arts, and very fascinated by anybody who's creative and can not only create, but can actually monetize it. So I love having this conversation. Let's have some fun with it.
Definitely. So Berkeley College of Music is the largest, I believe it's the largest music college in the country. And we have so many different subspecialties within music. It's, of course, performing, but we have music engineering, like recording studio, training, film scoring, music therapy. And my area is musical theater writing. So composing for the theater, songwriting for the theater.
And I suppose that is what the topic of today's program is going to be, because I understand that you have a new CD, is it? And it's very interesting.
It's what I do, yeah. Let's
talk about that.
I would love to. It's a project that took about 3 years to come to fruition, and it's called All the Possibilities, Broadway Sings Wartofsky. That's me, by the way.
All right.
And I'm a composer, lyricist. I've co-written several musicals, and there are some selections from those shows on the CD. It has a vibe that's sort of both singer-songwriter, adult contemporary meets Broadway, so a very contemporary sound. And it was a really great collaboration between folks at Berkeley, students, faculty who played on the record, and we recorded the instrumental tracks there, and then we brought the tracks to New York, and there are 12 Broadway stars who recorded the lead vocals on all of these songs. So It was really just a dream come true.
Sounds like a special production there.
Have that collaboration take place.
Wow, so it's All the Possibilities, and it's for sale, I imagine?
So yeah, it's everywhere that you would purchase music. There is a physical CD for those of us who still like to put a CD in the car, or
but if I go to Amazon,
hold it,
or I go to
it's on
iTunes.
Amazon Music and iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. You can stream it for free if you like what you hear. It'd be great if you would download it. It does come with a 20-page digital booklet if you download the album on iTunes, and it's kind of
and also
nice.
There's a booklet inside the...
There is, yeah.
Okay.
Can I
Sure.
show that?
While you do that, I'm going to share that Michael Wartofsky has, he's a composer, lyricist, and a professor at the Berkeley College of Music. He has composed and collaboratively created the All the Possibilities Broadway Sings Wartofsky. You can get your copy, or you can learn more by going to www.michaelwartofsky.com. He's also on Instagram. He has an email address also. There's a button on the website, michaelwartofsky.com, which is michael at michaelwartofsky.com. Perhaps you sense a theme. We like saying the name Wartofsky. So, Mr. Wartofsky, you are showing us the inside jacket. Back in the old days when we had better eyes and bigger medium with the LPs,
we had LP jackets.
So this is the equivalent.
You know, and these are probably going by the wayside, but you know, at the tender age of 50 for my first CD, I wanted to have something to hold in my hands.
Sure.
My collaborator, David Reifel, who also teaches at Berkeley, and he co-wrote 3 of the songs with me. He also designed this beautiful jacket, and this collage is a collage of the 12 Broadway singers who do the lead vocals, and inside there's the 20-page booklet, and there are lyrics and photos of me in the recording studio with many of the singers, or even production photos from the original productions.
Okay.
And the CD itself has the design on it as well. So,
how interesting.
You know, it's sort of old school because it is this physical package, but for those of us who like that sort of thing.
You can't get that on digital, but at the same time, it's worth it on either side. So, and as I, look at somebody who is creative and does it, how does one become a composer? What do you do? Just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to be a composer? How does that work?
You know, it's funny. I think many of us start as performers. That was my path anyway. I started performing in a sort of new wave punk rock band in high school back in the 80s.
Okay,
and,
excellent.
And that was so fun, and it was, really writing some of my first songs. And then I got to college, and I was in a lot of the high school plays as well. Got to college and realized I had been a big fish in a small pond, and I loved what I did, but I didn't really have the talent to make it as a performer on stage. But I still loved being around music and theater, so gravitated towards writing songs for other people.
Clearly found some success.
And that's what this album is I feel like I am singing, I am performing through other people performing my songs.
This may be a bit off base, but I listened to an interview with the writer Sia and how other people do her songs. She started doing her own songs, and she went through the process where she was not thinking that she had the ability to sing her songs. Well, of course, she's a beautiful singer and very intriguing as a person. But you going the other direction, being a performer, but then realizing that maybe writing was more. But you still have to be connected and love each song. And she says that each song is her baby. Do you feel the same way? Each song is part of you, and
yeah, especially when you're writing it. Ideally, each thing that you're writing is your new favorite thing. You have to really believe in it, and
you have 12 performers who are performing your music, your songs, and so each one of these has to be a different dynamic, a different relationship, a different reality, and yet they're all yours.
Yeah, it's true, but they, each person brings something really unique. Each song is my baby, but the last song is especially dear to me, and I mention it perhaps because I put it last on purpose because it feels like it is the final statement. And so I hope that people will get to the last song of the album, make it all the way to the end. It's called Never Far From Home, and it's sung by an actor named Katie Thompson, who has an extraordinary voice. And when we were recording in the studio, I learned that she actually had not studied voice. She studied acting. She had a degree in acting, not voice.
Interesting.
And it made a lot of sense because she really acted the song, and in a way that was unprecedented. I'd had the privilege of hearing 4 or 5 different interpretations of the song already, just in concerts, not in recording like this. And I loved each different interpretation, but hers was the first one that acted. For instance, I might have written a whole note, meaning the singer is supposed to hold the note for a while, and she would cut it off because it was more dramatic for her that way. And learning those kind of things from another artist is really exciting.
And I suppose you could go 2 ways with that. You could say, wow, that's amazing, that is stunning, I'm in love. Or you could say, that's horrible.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had that happen?
Rarely. I think when you get to be the caliber artists that I was fortunate enough to work with these Broadway stars, they've gotten where they got because they're really good, so they have great instincts. And I write for performers. I love it when people perform my work. If they've, I have sheet music online as well, so if any singers are looking for repertoire, I love to hear from them, and I'm writing to help them do what comes naturally.
Sure.
So if something's not working for a singer, it's probably my fault that I didn't write it yet in a way that it comes out naturally.
What a healthy
for them.
approach, and so that way you're looking as a challenge to create something that'll match each performer, each artist.
Yeah, and that people would love to sing. I mean, it should be fun to sing.
Should be fun. So you are a Broadway composer then?
Well, I compose in the style of Broadway. When you say that, I feel like it would be a false claim to say I'm a Broadway composer.
This is my softball to you, and you correct me. This is good stuff.
Well, I would love to make it to Broadway one day. That basically would mean that something I wrote were performed in a Broadway theater. But I am a musical theater composer, and I've had productions, for instance, in the New York Musical Theater Festival, and there's a song on the album called Real Thing that it was from a one-man musical, and the same amazing Broadway actor, Darius DeHaas, who was in the original show, The Man in My Head, in the festival, he was kind enough to come back and record a new arrangement of that song with strings and horns. I mean, just this huge blowout version. And I actually just released the music video.
Is a diamond ring, but money cannot buy this natural high. No end to my supply. My love's the real thing. You are my pearl inside a shell. I'm your wishing well. Make a wish, watch it take wing. I'll be your sounding board, your hope restored, your every dream explored. My love's the real thing. I take care of business, but leave room for romance. Daily rhythms make us dance. Sings full of dirty dishes. Days full of tender kisses. Nights full of stars and conversation. I'll take you strolling in December snow. From barren ground I'll make the tulips grow. I ask for little in return. Your arms around me, crown me like a king. And oh, I'll admit it when you're right. I won't start no fight, but I'll defend you with my sting. The room may leak, the car break down, I'll still be around. You stand on solid ground. My love's the real thing. My love's the real thing. When you think you've reached your peak, I'll lift you higher. I will astound you, surround you with endless joy. Winter, summer, fall and spring. Don't ever need to have your flaws to win my applause. You make my heart somersault and sing. Old and gray, I'll take your hand. I'll be where your wedding band. No castle made of
much information, so much packed into this CD, and there's music videos. So we can find this also, I would imagine, with links to the videos off of your website.
Yes, so the website has them. I have a YouTube channel. Also, it's M. Wartofsky.
Okay.
So, youtube.com/M. Wartofsky.
Because at the end of the show, I'm going to remind everybody they should be a subscriber to our YouTube channel here at Foxborough Cable Access. So now we will, while you're in there clicking on ours, you should also go and click on M. Wartofsky. Excellent.
Sounds great.
Well, we don't have to cover that at the end now because we've already covered it now. But on YouTube, it is such an interesting medium because there's so much content out there, and to subscribe to a channel, it's great. You get the subscribers, it creates popularity, but it's also a great way to showcase your talent, showcase your work. So you use that medium, I would imagine, for a lot of your work?
My goal is to have, by the end of the year, a video for every song on the album. So I'm trying to release a new one each month.
Wow.
And the fun thing is that I have actual raw footage from both the instrumental recording sessions from Boston, the Broadway star vocal recording sessions in New York, and so I'm editing those together.
Okay.
For Real Thing, it's a very sweet and wholesome, upbeat funk tune, and it just seemed to work to do it with a vintage comic book filter on everybody. So that was really fun. I'm just trying to find a new look for each video. And then there was one video by one of the biggest stars. Her name is Annie Golden. I first saw her in the movie Hair when I was a preteen back in, I think it was either the late 70s or early 80s when that movie came out. And most recently, I mean, she's been on Broadway in many things, and she was in that miniseries Orange is the New Black. When we recorded the song. And so her contract forbade her from getting video recorded. So, so for that particular video, I'm hoping to do something really fun with animation.
Okay, excellent. I'm very excited about this whole, about meeting you and about these videos.
Thank you.
And
exciting to talk about it.
Well, I would love to have everybody go to www.michaelwartofsky.com and click on the link and learn more about this. Purchase a CD. They make great gifts. Father's Day is coming up. Birthdays are coming up. Each one of you has a birthday coming up in the next year, and this makes the perfect gift.
That's right. Something to hold on to.
Something to hold on to. You don't know this, but we have a theater here in town, the Marilyn Robin Performing Arts Center, and maybe someday we'll see a performance on our stage, or maybe one will sneak in the back door, and then somebody will say, "Hey, that's a Wartofsky song." Until then, let's look at this. So everybody has a favorite, right? And what I would ask you is, of the 12 children on this CD, we love each one of them in their own way, of course, but what's your favorite one?
Yeah, it's really hard. I mentioned the last song, and it's between the first and the last song. It's the bookends, even though the whole album is very theatrical, the first and last song are basically about life and death. They're about the circle of life, as Elton John would say.
Sure. So you've put this together and you hear this from many artists, they lament the passing of LPs because you know with a single, when you get the download, you're not telling the story. You don't have the ability to create and take the listener down the path and have the whole thing be a meaningful album. It's a song. While the song is a great song and a fantastic song, you lose the context within the story that they're trying to share. But you've done that with this, it sounds like.
You know, I'd be honored for someone to listen to one of these songs, but if they have time, certainly to listen to the flow of the whole album. It is put together with a flow in mind. My aunt, who was one of my favorite people, died tragically in a fire several years ago, and so the first song is called In a Dream. And it's how my cousin and I both experience her mom and my aunt coming to us in dreams. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. So it's a song about processing grief and you know, letting the memory of the person live on. Surprisingly, I think for the listener, to a very up-tempo, upbeat, funky groove with a fantastic singer. I mean, they're all fantastic, but Alicia Umphris was on Broadway in the show On the Town a few years ago. She's a Boston Conservatory graduate.
Really?
So
okay.
Another connection to Boston, and just I mean, they say you could sing the phone book, and you know, with a great singer, and she's one of those.
You were the dreamer. I planted my feet firm on the ground. I'm not a believer. You tried and you tried to turn me around. Now I follow my compass without you beside me, without you to guide me. But then when I close my eyes, the geometrical planes of the universe bend. Your perfume fills the room, and your arms wrap around me again. You kiss away some of the pain, but some still remain. So I stay, darling, stay. Tears flow, you turn to glow whenever I see you in a dream. In a dream. I don't want to wake up. I want to see what happens next in the story I make up. When my subconscious writes the text, nobody knows it. They think I've recovered, but I'm going crazy. 'Cause lately I'm longing to believe. The geometrical planes of the universe bend. The band plays our song, and we dance the steps we did then. You kiss away some of the pain, and though it's insane, we find a way. You're here to stay, but daylight interferes, and I wake up in tears whenever I see you in a dream. In a dream. The morning dove cries, he thinks you've gone. If he closed his eyes, he'd realize you live on and on. The geometrical planes of the universe bend. We dance and we dance to a tune without end. You kiss away some of the pain, and though it's in vain, I hear myself say, darling, stay. The impossible seems so possible whenever I see you. The impossible seems so possible whenever I see you in a dream.
So those two songs, I mean, I love every song on the album, but those are especially personally important to me because the last song is also about a passing of another relative. I hope that you know, as a songwriter, you have personal experiences, and hopefully when people listen, they relate with their own experiences. So hopefully it helps heal the listener who has experienced his or her own loss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, doesn't, you know, they don't know me personally, so my loss doesn't matter, but it's an attempt to universally
But isn't that the mark
reach
of a creative person who has the ability to compose and create the emotion, and we in the audience feel that emotion and remember the tune and can get in touch either with that specific emotion or something that we related to ourselves. Isn't that the whole point of music?
It is, right?
Whether it's joyful
a universal
or,
language, yes.
I mean, we all get into a good Queen anthem, and we all really get into a good, Adele lament, and thinking about that lost love we had when we were in the 5th grade, and there's
and
Adele.
suffered her specific breakup, and we relate with whatever we
it's
relate
that connection,
to.
right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Having a very enjoyable conversation with Michael Wartofsky. As you go, and first of all, just as an aside, do you try to show extra love to the artists and people who are here in Boston? Do you try to, or is New York the scene where you're at? Is it?
Well, in terms of musical theater, I think it's important to certainly support your local community. I love New York theater, of course, but there's a lot of great theater in Greater Boston, and in particular, it's been several decades now. I'm part of a writers group of new musical theater. It's called the New Opera and Musical Theater Initiative.
Okay.
We used to do an annual festival. We don't do that anymore, but Jury actually played and music directed in our festival once.
Jury love. Well, I am absolutely not surprised.
Yes, she gets around. So we stopped doing the festival, but we still do what we call a writer's lab. It's the Advanced Writers Lab, so that artists who are writing musicals in the Greater Boston area have a place to develop them, to hear actors singing their songs, performing their scenes, and to get feedback from their peers. So we're trying to grow new theater that way. And certainly if there's, I like to see new plays, but especially if there's a new musical, I am there in the front row to check it out and lend my support.
Outstanding. Speaking with Michael Wartofsky we're with many things now. I guess we'll find out which one we have the easiest way of getting a hold of him, but I know what that is. It's your website at michaelwartofsky.com. That's the best way to find him. Follow him on YouTube. He's got a great channel, M. Wartofsky. Also, be his follower on Instagram. There are various posts out there. Clearly, someone who is making his mark in the I won't say local, but in the performing arts music scene, and one that we're looking forward to following. We are close to being out of time. I want to give you the last word, but I want to remind everybody that if you missed any of this information, you can log back onto our website at fcatv.org, click on the on-demand video, and find this episode under the Foxborough Central tab. A lot of good information out there, and we are blessed to have Michael joining us and sharing some of his creativity and his gift of song. So, Michael.
Yeah, well, I guess I would just mention that the album was a collaboration between Berkeley and Broadway, and that at Berkeley we're developing programs in musical theater performance, musical theater conducting, and then musical theater writing. So within our songwriting program, you can actually write lyrics, music, or the story, the book, to musical theater under guidance from several professors, including myself. And we're hopefully training the next generation to make a mark in musical theater, which is just exploding these days. I think you see it with Hamilton, the sensation that is, that musical theater is a vehicle for all different styles and all different stories, and it's not something of the past that is codified as Gershwin or whatever classic. We appreciate the classics, but it's also a very contemporary genre.
It is definitely happening. And we are very happy that you joined us here on Foxborough Central. Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Bob.
And thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this program, and I hope you do check out Michael Wartofsky's newest album, All the Possibilities, Broadway Sings Wartofsky. You can find that at www.michaelwartofsky.com. We're out of time. We hope you have a great day, Foxborough. Until next time, have a good one.